going to move our turn, like we promised, into the summer of 1864. So Union are going to get another 8 troops up into Washington. Election will be the end of next term, so that's going to be big. They're going to get 4 more troops in Cairo. I'm going to put 6 troops this time in the Ohio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I can't get them down there if I put them in the Ohio. The Army of the Cumberland's currently sitting with 6. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put them in Cairo. So we'll do that. The Confederacy is going to have to roll for their ports again. We'll start with the West Coast. They failed, so it's 2 strategic will hit. We'll go the East Coast. East Gulf, they failed there. That's 2 more hit. Oof, that's why this blockade is so huge, especially late in the war. We will now go to the South Atlantic. They missed that one. That's 2 more. And the last one, the very important North Atlantic, they failed that one. So they got no resources that turn. And that strategic will dropped them down to 21. That was rough. Very, very rough. They're 21 points away from their will breaking and just giving into the North. The North is 5 strategic will away, which they're going to lose at the end of next turn for war weariness. And that could be crucial at the election. So this game is absolutely tight. So the Confederacy, remember, they're only going to get 8 resources because they lost a state. We'll put 1 right into the Army of Northern Virginia to move them from 9 to 10. We'll put 1 into North Carolina, knowing we'll put them in Wilmington, knowing we're going to shoot them up. We'll go 1 in South Carolina again. That'll give them at least 2 more resources. We'll put 1 in the Army of the West out here, move them 6 to 7. We'll put 1 in Georgia, right into Smithville to bring that army back up to 2. Okay. I've got 4 units left. Where am I going to want to put them? We're going to put 1 right in Florida because we're going to get them up to this army as well. Build that back up as quick as we can. So Florida will work. We went Georgia. We went Mississippi. I'm going to put 1 right into Missionary Ridge, Tennessee. I got 2 left. I did South Carolina. I did Georgia. I did Florida. I've got Alabama left. I've not done Alabama. So we'll put 1 right into Alabama. And my last unit, we're going to put right into New Orleans. I remember I've got the unit there. I don't want to lose it. And I don't want to lose a cheap loss with the Union just sailing down and landing in Vicksburg. So I'll put 1 unit. I can't do that because I put 1 into Mississippi. But I can't put them into Louisiana and ferry them in. So the Union will do their moves first. So we're going to go ahead and move. The Army of the Potomac is sitting at 9. So we're going to move 6 of their units, which is going to leave them 7 to move left. I'm going to use dice. It's just a lot easier. So we'll move that 6 right into the Army of the Potomac. We're going to take 2 units and sail them down to Forts Phillip and Jackson. So that's going to give me 5 moves left. We'll take the 4 units right here in the Army of Cairo, or in Cairo, and we're going to move them into the Army of the Missouri. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to move them into the Army of the Tennessee. No, we're going to move them to the Army of the Missouri for 4. So they'll go from 8 to 12. That's 4. That leaves me 1 unit left to move. This would have fell at the end of last turn. So I will take this 1 unit out here and move them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the Army of the Cumberland. Remember, I can supply armies that are in supply. So that will be the 15 moves for the Union. The Confederacy will move 2 units out here into the Army of Northern Virginia. We'll bring them up to 12. That's 2. I will bring 1, 2, 3 units into the Army of the Mississippi to bring them back up to 5. I've got 2 moves left. I'll move my 1 unit right into Vicksburg, and I've got 1 move left. And unfortunately, I'm out of units to move, so I can't move anybody else. That'll be it. Now the generals. So a couple of things to look at as I looked at here, man. It's what's really making the Union armies ineffective, even though they're large, is their generals just aren't great attackers. And honestly, I think that's one of the greatest things that Mark Herman did in this game, because he really showed the Southern general advantage over the Union. And it's also a way of, if he didn't do that, then honestly, the Union with their numbers can just trample over the South, and it's not a fun game. So this game kind of depicts the Confederates winning a lot of the battles, but losing the attrition war really, really well. And I think, you know, Grant, Sherman, Sheridan will tip the scales late in the game like they did in the Civil War. But again, I really like that tactic of the Confederate generals are just better. The Northern generals, I have a lot of them. They just don't have a lot of punch to them. So the question is, where do I want to put Sheridan? Now, I kind of like him in the Army of the Potomac, right? Because it's going to give Grant's going to get his full 3 bonus. He'll have his cavalry. That'll offset the Army of Northern Virginia's cavalry. I may have said something in the last setting. The cavalry bonus only applies Army versus Army. So if I put Sheridan there with that unit, with that group, the question then becomes, I go and attack the capital. And if I don't take it and I lose, and you got to figure both sides will continue to roll max damage, I will hit him for 6. He'll go 12 to 6. He'll hit me from 5. He'll hit me for 6, so I'll go 15 to 9. He'll go 12 to 6. We'll go medium. Let's go max damage there. He'll lose 3. I'll lose 3. And let's say I hit him one more time. It'll be tough. And why I'm afraid of that is if I lose that battle out there, I will drop to 49 strategic will if I don't take the capital. And I'll take a lot of hurt, and I won't be hitting the South anywhere, and I'm going to waste a lot trying to do that. The other tactic is, do I put this cavalry out with one of my armies that are a little bit inept out here? Like if I put him in the Army of the Tennessee, for instance, well, that has a cavalry. So I probably wouldn't put him with him. But let's say I go ahead and put him with the Army of the Missouri. Well, they have our army too. So I can put him with the Army of Cumberland. That'll give them some really good punch to kind of come down here and start to take and maybe take away this Army of the Mississippi and just destroy the underbelly. So a lot of tough choices here. I'm going to do the thing I didn't want to do. I am going to actually put him with the Army of the Potomac, because I'm going to make a general move and try to move maybe McPherson, who's got a +2 attack, out to one of these other armies. I'm going to try to restructure my generals next turn. That'll be my play. The Confederacy goes, they have Hardee, Hill, and Fitzlee just got back from assembling the Jeb Stuart's cavalry that he lost. I'm going to put Fitzlee with the Army of the Mississippi. My plan there is, as the Army of Cumberland comes down, maybe detach him to cut off his supplies. That leaves me Hardee and Hill, both a 1-1 on the attack. Remember, I wanted to form an army out here, but I just don't have the troops to do it. So I basically have 2 generals with no troops left to really assign them to. I mean, I could help protect these forts with those generals, or I can put them with my armies so that if I take casualties, it decreases the chance of which generals are getting whooped here. So I'm going to go ahead and put Hardee. I'm going to put Hill with the Army of Northern Virginia in case the Union attacks and I roll my 10s and I start losing generals. And I will put Hardee with I'm going to have Hardee try to hold New Orleans again. Again, I think the more I can prevent the Union from taking this, I'm in better shape there. Although the Union could sail down and try to take Vicksburg, and all I got there is a fort. we'll see. We're going to go with that. That'll be the end of the moves. Let's go ahead and draw our cards. So the Confederacy is going to start. They're going to get Severe Storm at Seas. Interesting. Great little card there. They can cancel a naval move by the Union. Great move because the Union wouldn't know I would have it. They would potentially go launch their attack here in Fort Phillips Jackson, which you know they're setting up. You play that card and you cancel it. The Union gets Richmond Bread Riots. They can reduce the Confederate strategic will by 2. And, man, they've got them at 21 points. That'll bring them to 19. So that's probably a definite to get played. Confederates get Shiloh. It's basically moving troops around the board and then activating a general to attack. I doubt we're going to use that card. Confederacy. Union gets... Okay, they get a move to make a naval move. A card. Next up will be Political Crisis. It's a Union event for 2. Confederacy can't use it, but they can take the points. Confederacy gets, the Union gets their own elite units, so we'll see if they bring those into play. Confederacy gets a 2 event. Union gets Kentucky Anarchy. Kentucky's already fallen, so here they can remove up to 3 political control markers in Kentucky. The Union wouldn't do this. You must also remove one of your own from the state if you have any there. So Confederacy could have played this maybe to reduce some supply up into... so if the Confederacy had this and played this in Falmouth, Frankfort, and Lexington, these 6 units can't come down because they do not have a general with them. But it's a Union card, so that will not trigger. Confederacy gets Valley Devastation. It's a Union event. Won't trigger. Union gets Major Campaign. So 3 moves or 1 special army size move. I might do that army size move just to show you guys some stuff if that is able to happen. Confederacy gets a Minor Campaign, so they can get the jump on the Union if they so desire, but I don't see why they would want to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the Confederates recognizing Kentucky, Maryland, Missouri, and Delaware to get some units. It's an event, but it's going to be in the Union hand. It won't work. And our last card, guys, will be Indian Allies. Oh, the Confederates can immediately receive 1 unit in any friendly space in Arkansas. That's huge because they can put that with the army in the group in Little Rock. They'll have 5 and then can make an army. So the Confederates are out there. You think about that card and they're like, we'd love to form an army out here. We can't get troops, and maybe Bragg and Smith put their head together and say, man, maybe we can recruit a division of Native Americans, Indians, to come on in and can form an army with them as one of our divisions. So we'll see how that plays out. Last card from the Union is a 3 card that they can't use because it's Confederate. So let's go ahead and play this round out and see what happens. Do I want to play my Minor Campaign? There's really nothing I can do with it as the Confederate. I'm stuck and I'm on the defensive, so I will pass and let the Union go. So let's just go right off the bat and show you how this would work. The Union's going to make a naval move with up to 3 SPs. So they're going to take those 3 here, plus 1 general. Do I want to do that move? You know what? Where can we do that from? I'm not going to do that card yet, actually. There's nowhere really to pull it off yet. I know I really want to kick the pants out of this group out here with the Army of the Tennessee. The Army of the Tennessee currently is not packing a lot of punch. So they will go ahead and play. They don't know that the Confederates have that card here. So they're going to try to make this unit, this Army Elizabeth, a little stronger. They're going to play their elite unit card. They're going to go ahead and bring in the Iron Brigade. Again, it doesn't add a strategic unit. It just gives them a +1 modifier. So we'll go ahead and put that with the Army of the Tennessee. So now we have Hood's Brigade, Hood's Texans. We'll give a +1 out here to the group in Arkansas. And then we've got the Iron Brigade there as well for the unit. So now the Confederates look at it and they're like, all right, we know what we want to do. We're going to risk, if I go ahead and bring that SP now, the Union will know I'm coming to form an army. A good Union player will know, and they'll go ahead and make the attack. The other option I would do is potentially pull back into Vicksburg. And that's what I will do. So I need a 2 card to activate that. I'll use the Nathan Leon card. I'll take the 2 card to pull back to Vicksburg to get into this fort, because it's the only place I can currently chorus is Vicksburg, and that's vital to me. So I will take all this back into Vicksburg. I'll have my 5 now. 1, 2, 3. Let's pull these off. Plus the unit in Vicksburg, 4, 5. I still have Hood's Brigade, and I could probably safely, the Union wouldn't know really what I'm doing here. They're probably going to be just happy taking Little Rock and Little Rock falling. So we'll see what happens there. So the Army of the Tennessee goes. They need a 2 card to activate. They've got a lot of good cards here. They'll play that Kentucky Anarchy card for 2, and they will go ahead and say, let's get Kentucky. So they'll go 1, 2, 3, convert, 4, 5, convert, 6, convert. So that's what the move will be. So they'll convert Fayetteville. So again, they're going to go 1, 2, 3, convert 4, convert Clarksville 5, and then back into Little Rock, which will convert at the end of the turn. So that does not convert yet. So that will sit there. But Arkansas, 6 spaces in Arkansas fall. They'll lose the state. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will fall. I think it was more important for me to get an army out here. Hopefully that wasn't a mistake. We will go back to the Confederacy. They do want to get another unit on the board, so we'll play that to get those Indian allies in the board. I'll get 1 unit. I am going to put them with... So Confederate immediately receives 1 unit, and it's got to be Arkansas that's free of Union units. So we'll go ahead and put them in Camden and hope that the Union doesn't waste a turn coming down and attacking that, which I don't think they would do normally, but we'll see what happens. Back to the Union. Union's going to declare a naval move. They're going to play a 3 card for that. That they're going to try to take New Orleans. That's when the Confederates will play Severe Storms at Sea. Interrupt card. It cancels a naval movement initiated by a 3 card. I just played that. This card cannot cancel naval movement initiated by event card. Okay, it wasn't an event card, so Union went to launch a naval attack to go after New Orleans again, and the weather said no and ended that move. Now, that was an interrupt card, which means it's now the Confederates' turn. Even though they played that card, they get to go again. I still have my campaign card left. I'm going to play the Shiloh event for 3. And I'm going to take that and basically form an army again. So I'll take the... Oh, no. I'm going to play the Wunna card. So that's going to allow me to pull this unit from Camden into the Vicksburg defense. This way, when I form that army, it's going to be stronger, and that unit's now safe. We'll go back to the Confederacy. They're going to play Bread Riots to have the Confederate lose strategic will by 2. This card will come out of the game. 1, 2. Confederacy is at 19 strategic will. We'll go back to the Confederacy. They will now form their army. They'll play that 2 card. We will bring the Army of the Tennessee back in with 6 units in it. So pretty formidable. Commanding that will be Bragg. Second in command will be Smith. We'll take these 6 off the board. They still have Hood's Brigade plus in it, plus the fort. So pretty good spot there. So I've got my 4th Army back on the board. We'll go back to the Union. Do this again, guys. So how this will work, remember the modifiers. I got an ironclad there, so it's +2 for the Confederacy. My blockade level is a 3, so I'm at a +1. So I roll the dice, 4 and a 3. So let's work through how this works. The 3 for it's a small battle again. The 3 for the Confederacy will be the 4 for the Confederacy. They will get no modifiers. They will get +1 for Hardy, which is 5. A 5 on a small battle will be 1 loss to the Union. We'll pull that unit out. Now I had Meade lead this attack, and I had 4 units. I left 1 behind with Butler. And the reason why I did that was I didn't want to have Butler come and lead this attack because he's got no modifier. So the Confederacy has a 3. They have 3 to 1 odds at the start of the battle. So that's going to give them +2. So that's a 5. And they have +1 for Meade as a 6. So a 6 on a small battle is also going to be 1 casualty. So we're going to lose the unit there. We're going to have Hardy go back to the track to come back next turn. Because of the ironclad that's there, and it was a naval assault, I will not win that battle. So I will come back, but I'm really set up to finally get New Orleans, I think, next turn. We'll go back to the Confederacy. They're going to do what they have to do. They're going to play the Shiloh card to basically move 2 units. They really don't want to lose. They're going to move 1 unit out of the Army of the Tennessee, 6 to 5, and bring them back to New Orleans and continue to hold that. Back to the Union. All right, the Union will activate the Army of the Tennessee. I'm going to spend 1 point to take Little Rock. So that's going to be 1 strategic will gained for the Union. That's a little resource point there. So they'll get +1, +2 for a change of fortune. The Confederacy will lose 1. Plus the state of Arkansas will fall. So the Confederacy is going to lose 5 more. So they're currently, the score is 13 to 57. So a couple of good things kind of worked out there for the Union, particularly the fortune swing in Little Rock. So that's 1. We'll come down to Camden, convert that to 3. And then we're going to come down to Shreveport and convert that 4-5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're going to move right into Marshall. Can't convert it yet, but that's going to do some significant damage to the Confederacy as well. So again, Arkansas has fallen, so another state has fallen late in the war. We'll go back to the Confederacy. Confederacy does have their campaign card. Do they cross the river and put an attack on the Army of the Tennessee? Army of the Tennessee is currently sitting with, they would have defense modifiers of 1, 2, 3. The Army of the Tennessee for the Union, for the Confederacy, it just has a +2 on the attack. They don't have a cavalry, so they'll lose that. So they'll probably lose this battle out here, which stinks. So do I just give up this portion of the board and just continue to try to hold the Mississippi and stay alive? I think that's probably my best move. The Army of the West, I mean, I'd love to put Lee in charge and demote Polk, but if I did that, I'd lose 5 more strategic will, and that's a tough one for me to deal with right now. Do I detach Wheeler? if I detach Wheeler from my cavalry here and try to cut off 1, 2, 3, he can't cross the river. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring Wheeler up to Columbus. If I bring him up to Columbus, at the end of the turn, that will convert over, and the Army of the Missouri will either have to pull back to get back in supply. They'd only have to really pull back one spot. I don't know if that's worth it. The other option is Forest. Do I detach Forest? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, and cut off supply again to the Army of the Potomac. I would lose 3 defense at the Capitol, but I'd still have Longstreet there for +3. I'd still have the port for +2. So I'd still get a +5 plus my roll. Sorry, Capitol here. I'd still have 2, 3. I'd still have plus. No, if I lose the cavalry, I'll lose Johnson's bonus. So I would just get Pemberton's 1. I'd get Sidney Johnson's 1, 2, +3. I'd still get a +5. But I'd be able to cut off supplies and reinforcements from the Army of the Northern Potomac, of the Potomac. What do I move? The Army of the Mississippi, now that he's in supply, up against this Army of the Cumberland. Man, I'm just out of choices here, and I don't want to. I really do not want to lose these points. 13 left. How do I not lose 13 more points? I'm going to lose Texas. It looks like very shortly that's going to cost me 7 before the election, and I don't know how I can get the Union down. I think I'm in a bad spot. I don't want to lose Mississippi either. Mississippi would be another 7 points, and that's open as well. As long as I keep Jackson protected, though, I'll be all right. Boy, I'm struggling. All right, let's do a boldish move. I'll play the minor campaign for the Confederacy, 3 moves. I'm going to detach. I can't detach my highest ranking general from the Army of Northern Virginia outside of my leader, which is Joe Johnston. So Sidney Johnson's at 10. I can't detach him. I will detach A.P. Hill, and I will give him, I'm going to lose 1 due to attrition by doing this. I'm going to detach 2 and bring him down to a 10. I will take 2 SSPs, 2 strategic points from Hill, and a corps can basically move 6 spaces. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to Staunton. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to start to at least show that I can get some pressure around the backside. And I don't think those 2 units are going to hurt me, but it'll give the North something to think about. I hope that's a good move. I'm really afraid of everything that's happening out here right now. You know, I thought about, I still got another 3 more moves. So I thought about bringing the Army of Tennessee out to Shreveport. And that's going to invite an attack from the Army of Tennessee. They need a 1, 2, 3 to intercept me to get a +2. Yeah, I just think that's going to hurt me if I do that move right there. You know what I can do? All right, we're going to activate him. We're going to cross the river for 1. We're going to go up to Camden for 2, 3 to cut his supply. And I don't want to get too far behind because I at least have I have no chance to intercept. So they can technically go, if I do that move to here, to Camden, Marshall, the unit Tennessee can go 1. They are not in supply, so they can't convert this. So they can go one, attack me from here, and I can either retreat to Washington. If I lose, is where I probably will retreat to. But then I'm stuck out in the middle of nowhere, and my fort's wide open. So, man, as much as I want to do this move, it's just not the right thing to do. It's just not the right thing to do, man. It stinks. I'm going to lose it, but it is what it is. That's the only move I'm going to do with the Confederacy. I mean, I'm thinking about the Army of the West. They do have a +4 on the attack against the Army of the Missouri. 12 versus 7. So that would be a large battle. If I can win that one, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to make an attack there. The Army of the Missouri, they don't want to risk a loss right here. So they're going to try to pull back. They need a 1, 2, or 3 to pull back. They got a 4, so it failed. So we're going to have an attack. All right, very low results, 2 to 1. So it is a large battle. So Army of the Missouri rolled a 1. They are Army of the Missouri versus the Army of the West. So they are, because their rating is higher, they can use 2 generals. So they will get a 1 + 1 is 2. 3, 4, they're going to roll a 5 on a large battle. A 5 on a large battle is going to be 3 losses to the Army of the West. So they will go from a 7 to a 4. The Army of the West rolled a 2. They have Lee, which will put them at a 5, and Wheeler at a 6. A 6 on a large battle is only going to be a 3. They needed a 4. Oh, they rolled so bad. 3. That's the problem with Polk in command. He's got no pluses. That's why Lee would have made a big difference there. So 3, 4, 6. Man, I was really hoping that. Okay, 3 losses to the Army of the Missouri. 1, 2, 3. And unfortunately, that desperate move is going to hurt because the South is going to lose 5 more strategic will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the Union's going to gain 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So I was really hoping, wow, that stinks. I was hoping to roll a little bit better, get the win, and sap the strategic will, and that did not work out in my case. The Union goes, they have a major campaign card. They can do a couple of things with this. They can conduct up to 3 moves or 1 special army size move. So let's talk about the special army size move that I can do with this card. And it's a pretty cool capability. So if there's an army commanded by McClellan, and there's not, Grant or Sherman, and I do have Grant commanding out here, that army can basically move between any 4 spaces in Washington. So they can move a whole army around. It's basically doing, I think it was called the Urbana Plan, where you're basically moving from Washington down the, I think it was the Rappahannock. I know I'm butchering that, and then coming in from DC from here, but I'm already there, so it doesn't really pay. The other way you can do that is you can take 9 or less SPs commanded by Grant or Sherman. And do I have a Sherman unit? Where did I put Sherman again? Sherman's with the Army of the Tennessee. The Army of the Tennessee is all the way in Marshall, so it won't work either. Where you can take 9 units, basically if they were on the river, move them along the river, 9 units, which is a way you do greater than 3. So again, you can either do 3 land moves or 1 big naval move, but you need those conditions to be met. Again, if it's a river moving on the Mississippi, you can move up to 9, led by Grant or Sherman. I don't have that because they're not in the right spot. And then, or you can move a whole army basically in the Northeast, but I don't need to do that. So I can continue to move armies around though. So I'll go ahead and take the Army of the Cumberland for my first move. I will come down to Missionary Ridge, 1, 2, and convert it, down to Dalton, Georgia, and convert it, 3, 4, down into Kingston and convert it, 5, 6. And I'm starting to make my way to the underbelly of the South. That's one move. I'm not going to risk my attack out there because honestly, I don't have to. I will take... the Army of the Tennessee. I will convert Texas for 1, the capital. That's going to be 1 more strategic point lost to the south and 1 more gain to the north. I'll come down to Natchez, which is 2, butchering that as well and convert it. So 1, 2, 3, and then I'll make an attack on Sabine City. I have odds right here of 8-1 with a lot of pluses. I'll roll for the sake of rolling. All right, 3 and a 3. So 3, the ironclad does nothing there because I'm coming for land. So a 3 result on a medium-sized battle. They'll get 1 casualty in on the Army of the Tennessee, and then the Army of the Tennessee will wipe out the unit and wipe out the ironclad. So those will come off the board. So 1, convert, 2, 3 into Texas for 4, convert for 5, and then back up to Nagachi. So Texas has now fallen. So that is going to be 7 more strategic will. We are now down to 10 for the Confederacy. Big loss there. And the port is now closed in Texas. So that's 1 less resource coming in for the Confeds. My last move, so I did 1, I did 2. I don't have to move that army. I'm going to go ahead and take 3 units from Cincinnati. I'll move 3 units by rail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into Nashville, with the intent of using this Confederate rail to bolster my Army of the Cumberland next turn. So that will end the turn. I think the game is pretty much going to end next turn. The South is up to 10 strategic will. The Union got themselves back up to 61. I don't see how I'm going to get 11 strategic will from the Union at this point. That battle was big because had I won that battle, I think it would have been 5 strategic will taken from the Union. Instead of them gaining, they would have lost. And then they would they would have lost. They would have been in the mid-50s with that loss. Probably would have attacked them again. Plus, they're going to take the 5-point loss due to war weariness. And I think that was my last best hope for the Army of the West to inflict damage on the Army of the Mississippi. I did not do that. And when I look at this game right now, I think the Confederacy is going to fall at the end of next turn. So let's go look at a couple things. Any other sites convert? No, the 3 I moved down, that was a dumb move. They're going to move to 2 because they're going to take some attrition. The 3 I left up in Cincinnati, we're going to lose 1 for attrition, so they're going to drop down to 2. Army-wise, I still have 3 in Vicksburg. We'll lose 1 to attrition. All right, Army of the West will go 4-3. Tennessee 5-4. Mississippi 5-4. Richmond 10-9. Cumberland 10-8. Sorry. 7-5 for the Tennessee. 7-5 for the Cumberland. 9-7 for the Mississippi, and 15-13 for the Potomac. Okay. That is going to be it for the turn. Yeah, I really think the Confederacy are just about out with Texas falling. If you think about it, next turn they are sitting at 10. If they fail 4 blockade checks, they're going to drop to 2. Yeah, I don't see this happening. Generals coming in. The Confederates are going to get Hardee back and Pegram. who is the cavalry replacement for, it wasn't Pegram, but I lost the chip that I was supposed to bring in, but it's the same rating. He's a replacement for Morgan. Jubal Early is also going to come in for the Confederacy. And the Union's going to get the Rock of Chickamauga. Thomas is going to come in, who is a 2 attack, 3 defense. That's all going to come in the fall. The Confederates are going to get, let's assume they get no reinforcements for the blockade zones. Instead of getting a usual 9, they're going to be down to 7 resources because of the loss of Arkansas. Oh, shoot. They lost Arkansas, Tennessee, and Texas. So they're only going to get 6 resources next turn. Yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. So we'll see what happens next turn. See you back at the table, and we'll take it from there. Thanks, guys.